Oh, it is our Thursday training. Woo! It is May 1st. Oh my goodness, we are starting the 5th month of the year. It is new beginnings. We had a few folks who had profits today. We didn't have very many losses today. I think I only saw a couple. Most of us had some started off May with profit. Some people stayed out, which that's a good thing to do too. The whole thing about SPX just kind of ranging for as long as it did, and then finally making a move. The move wasn't massive, but if you were, because price sat so long, then you needed to get closer in order to get the premiums you would be looking for. So as you get closer, and then it makes a move, it could easily drop right on through, and it would have, depending on where you have gotten. Now, if you had gotten into, 55.95, actually that 12.10 today, when we looked at 12.10, the 12.10 numbers were 55.90, 55.95. Those numbers were good at the end of the day because it was below 5,600. Remember, I said when we were looking at that, the 12 something, I said I would want to be below 5,600 because I just felt like that 5,600 was going to be a spot. And it ended up being a spot, didn't it? So I was like, if you're going to get in, get below 5,600. So that was the holding place. I almost did not turn on my PDT hack and then was like, no, let's not, I ain't gonna play, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. I was not gonna play with it. And I'm glad I didn't because I would have been breached again today. I'm glad I closed it, that I, did the PDT hack. But yeah, there's that. All right.
Yesterday held up too.
What held up?
Yesterday.
What's yesterday?
I
What do you
think the
mean?
last 2 days, the numbers that were the better days held up.
Oh, the best times.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I did put in the chat, hopefully, well, there's not that many pinned messages, Danielle. Just push, Zoom pops up. You got it though. We got it. The what was I gonna say? Oh, the best times. I created an Excel spreadsheet with the best times, and it's pinned at the top. I pinned it at the top so you can look at the best times by the day of the week, right? So you can see which times, which days, how you want to do it. Now I will update that because every week they do run that spreadsheet every week for the year to date. So if those numbers change, I will update it every week to see, if there's some changes, I'll keep it updated so we can continue to use that week after week. Okay. That's going to help us to because we were doing just time based before, and which could have been okay, but we also saw, if you go back and look at those charts, you also see that Monday afternoon, which we were in Monday afternoon on Magic 8 Ball is almost all red. The red Monday Magic 8 Ball does not seem to do very well on Monday afternoons, right? So now we found that out, we will trade accordingly. Okay, as we know more, we do more. That's the one thing. You can check out the best times by the days of the week. That is in there. I also want to talk about, I'm going to talk about the 3 things that we look at when we trade. When we look at that, we're going to talk about some trading psychology. I believe I brought the video down to the bottom if there is someone who wants to watch that. But we're also going to talk about trading psychology because there is something to it. Miss Marsha brought up something earlier, kind of spurred up some thoughts within my mind because there is something to it. Talk about that. And then we'll talk about the power hour strategy for us again. We've kind of talked it a little bit the last couple of days. During power hour, we've talked selecting strikes and suchy. Yeah, let's talk about that. And then we'll and along the way we'll answer all the questions because we have questions that pop up along the way, and I want to make sure that we're always doing our Q&A. We do have our coaching call on Saturday. So let's think about what would be a good topic for our Saturday coaching call because we're here Thursday. Sometimes when we're here on Thursday and here again on Saturday, I go back and forth with what to talk about both days. Like, what am I going to talk about? So let's think about what it is we want to, that we want to do, what we want to talk about on Saturday. Okay. We cool with this, with our topic so far? Coolly, coolly. Let's go first to, let me share my screen. How are y'all liking having the trades in a different place? How y'all liking that? Having the trades channel. What are your thoughts on that?
Very much needed. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that it was good because it also keeps, there we go. It also keeps it separate from me. I'm not sure why I hadn't thought about that because I'm in other places, Discords that have them. The Discord, you can have the different channels. Telegram, obviously, you can too. So, yeah, great. I like the, thank you for the suggestion, the person who gave it. And, I'm open to good ideas. You all can see this, and everybody, this link is in the chat. You can get this and download it for yourself, but I want you to be thinking about the 3 things that you check before you take a trade. Okay. Let's make it as big as we can make it. You want to look for the overall trend, first of all. Is the market trending for the day? Many of us trade SPX, we trade it for the day. But even if we're trading weeklies, we want to be looking at what is the trend on the stock for the week. We're using the 50 period moving average or the 100 period moving average to help you with your trend. Up, down, sideways. That's going to help you determine what we're doing. Are we near major support and resistance? And if you don't know whether you're near major support or resistance, you probably need to chart it. Right? So you'll know whether we're near support or resistance. You're going to check your S&P 500 and your NASDAQ. For us, we're usually trading the S&P, but you want to look at that if you're trading something else and see if what you're trading is in there or not. Check your moving averages. Are they sloping up, down, or flat? Actually, we're checking our trend with these moving averages. So there's your check there. And you want to trade with the market trend. That increases your probability of success, even when you're trading options, which of course we trade options, but you want to trade with the trend. We are big on this, checking for our major news events, because we already know that as a credit spread trader or as a seller, with anything that's going to be volatile and going to move our stuff, we want to make sure that we're aware of these things. Now, this is why on the morning call, you'll see me talk about the Cal. Some people are like, why you talk about the VIX and why do you talk about these things? Because these are the things that cause volatility and make our things move. And if you don't know, you need to kind of know what's going to make could potentially make your stock move. You need to know that, right? So this is what we do. That's what we do. Okay. 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 Major earnings, we talk about that. Economic calendar, we use that. You got investing.com, Forex Factory. Those are the 2 that we usually use, or your broker probably has a calendar. We look at earnings calendars. We use the one from Earnings Whispers, but there's so many other places that you can look for a calendar, right? Why does this matter? Major news days cause wild price swings. Smart traders stay alert. Identify your best setup. Now, when we talk about your best setup, we got to think about what is your best setup. And sometimes I wrestle with this, with what is my best setup. Because some people say, I traded my setup. And I'm like, well, what is a setup? And what is your setup? For me, my setup is basically, did it hit support and going somewhere else? Is it sitting flat? Is it between 2 zones? Is it not at my strike and not coming towards my strike? What trade type am I looking for today? Am I looking for credit spreads, iron condor? So for us, of course, we're going to do these based on what the price action is doing. I don't really go into the market saying I'm doing an iron condor today. I go in with, I know I'm doing credit spreads every day, pretty much. And I'm going to go with what the price action says. Does this setup match my plan? Well, that's my plan. Or am I forcing trades out of boredom? This is another thing. I have found that, and this is probably happening with some of you too, when we're waiting, like today, when we're waiting for 1210, What are y'all doing from 9:30 to 12:10? Think about it. You got to ask yourself, what am I doing from 9:30 to 12:10?
Working.
Working. So some of you have jobs. You're doing a job. I'm gonna focus on my job while I'm waiting for 12:10. But there are some people who might be working, but they chomping at the bit to what they trying to see. Ooh, I saw that price run up. I could have got in on that. That was me. That was me, because I saw it jump out and break out of that morning range, that opening range. I was like, ooh, I could have done something right there. But I'm trying to wait till 12:10. I'm trying to wait to do one good trade a day. I'm like, I'm trying to focus on one good trade a day. I could do this 12:10. I could do this, but I'm like, oh, I could do this, 10:30, because I can see this break out. But I really need to be focused on getting these kids out of this final. Yes. Donald says, watching the screen. Julie says, I have taken unnecessary trades. I like it's very helpful. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's like, what have we done? Watching price action. Yeah, those are good things to do.
Since you reminded us about the 6th line, I've tried to do a little spreadsheet to write out daily the numbers, because I don't have to see the numbers. I just have to know the numbers.
Okay.
So if it's 5681, then I know, you know what I mean? But so two things. Trying to do that a little bit more deliberate in the morning, so that sets the tone. And then so that's what I would be doing in the meantime. And then as you do your good work of reminding us, okay, now we're still in the zone, it came back in the zone, it didn't leave the zone. I'm like, all right, cool. But at least I'm trying to be a little bit more deliberate with identifying yesterday's numbers, yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows.
Yeah. Looking at the places where price has been, what's our support and resistance, what kind of zones are forming in the morning. If you're going to trade the opening range breakout, which I think is cool, as you all are learning more. I think this morning, TJ, she flying with her own wings. This morning, TJ went with the opening range breakout. I've taught that. And when you're comfortable enough to go do it, go for it. TJ also has access to Magic 8 Ball. So when the 10:30 comes, you're free to, run with it. So she went with the 10:30 with the breakout and was able to get her PDT hack and go for it. So when you're looking and you're able to watch this, it's a good time, works for you, go for it, right? What are we doing? We're setting our opening range. We're looking for the breakout. We're doing our 6 lines. We're, checking if there are any more support and resistance. Whatever, put Adams numbers on your paper, because Adams numbers also are going to be good support and resistance. You're basically doing the things that you can do to keep an eye on it, but not necessarily so much so that you feel like you need to jump in. Because I know this morning I was like Mr. Wesley was like, I'm sitting here trying not to revenge trade, and I was with him because I was ready to ride this morning. I was ready to ride out. Like as we ride at dawn, I was ready to ride at dawn because. But I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be focused on doing this, and if I don't, I'm gonna be doing this. So, yeah. So are we taking unnecessary trades or forcing trades out of boredom while we wait? I'm waiting. So, and it ain't quite 12:10, but it's 10 o'clock or 10:30, and I'm ready to go. So let's go. And if that's fine, if everything that you're looking for matches what you want, then go for it. I'm not saying hold your trade up just because you're waiting on 12:10, but I'm also saying don't take a trade just because you're bored and it's not quite time. If it's time and it's ready, if your setup says let's go, then go. If it's not ready and your setup is not there, don't force something that's not ready yet. That's what I'm saying, okay? Your chart pattern checklist or favorite setups, you got the breakout, a reversal, which that reversal off the close of the gap was, for those who know how to watch that gap reversal, that would have been a really good call credit spread. No, it wasn't quite 12:10, but when it returned around, that would have been a good call credit spread time, because once that gap got finished being filled and it started to turn back, call credit spread time higher than that, and that would have expired worthless today because it never went back up there. All right. A VWAP play, if it pops away from an outer band of VWAP, or it, bounces off the middle line, however, whatever you're using as your setup, opening range breakout, reversal, VWAP, bump, 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 whatever you're using, stick to your winning setups and don't take random trades. All right, whatever it is you like and you doing, let's do it. If you're doing it with Delta, you're doing 3 o'clock, you're doing whatever your strategy is, then stick to it and let's make it work, okay? Why does this matter? Because we want to have consistency over randomness. We want to be consistent. If your consistency is, I'm going to take the trades that Magic 8 Ball shows are the best times, that's also a setup. That's also saying, I'm going with Magic 8 Ball's best times. That's also a plan. All right, whatever your plan is, get a plan and let's follow that plan consistently. All right. Following a pre-decided setup helps eliminate emotional trading and chasing moves. If you decide this is what I'm doing, then that's what you're doing. All right. Bonus, if you're not seeing a clean setup after checking these things 3 times, then it's okay not to trade today. If you know you're going to trade distracted, or you know this doesn't fit what you're trying to do today, then like, Jared and a few other people later in the day, Jared got ready. We were at the end of the day and I said, this move at the end is going to be big. And Jared was like, what do you mean by that? And I said, because it's been sitting in this zone. It's SPX stayed in that same area after it popped and dropped from the gap. It stayed in that same zone for the rest of the day. I was like, when it does, and y'all heard me say this, it's coiling too long. Once it's move, it's gonna move. And he was like, well, I was gonna do an iron condor here and here. He said, maybe I'll just wait. Turns out, if he had done it, he would have been breached. Same thing for me. I looked at those numbers of like, whatever I picked got to be under 3,600, but we were far enough away from it that there wasn't any money there at the time I was looking. I said, well, I just need to wait. So I waited, and then the next thing we know, it was going, and I said, let me just wait till it bounces off of 3,600, and it did. Actually, it did go below 3,600. It went down into 30, 35. Are we in 35? Yeah. 55. I keep saying 30, 39. It went down into 55, 58. It went down there while I was looking, by the way. And then it bounced back up to 56. 56.04, I think it closed somewhere around there. All right. If you want to print this PDF, you can. The link is in the chat. All right. All right. Miss Marsha mentioned something earlier today about she says 100 days of trading every day. Ms. Marsha decided that's what she's going to do for herself. She's going to trade every day. And the reason she's going to do that is because she has found that when she takes a loss, she finds herself not doing the trading, not trading for several days out of, now her insides are upset. I get it. Okay, believe me, my loss Monday was what, 2,700? Right. I gave the market their money back. They still don't make it feel a whole lot better. My mind says I lost $2,700. The second thought is the thought that says I gave the market their money back. That's not the first thought. The first thought is I lost $2,700. The second thought is, oh, it's me giving the market their money back. But the first thought is still I lost $2,700. And the next day, I think I made $500 or $600 the next day. And then yesterday, I lost $1,600. So, but my mind, the first set is, and then the next day, the next day you place a trade inside your body, your money or market buddy, the next day, your insides start doing all the moves. And y'all know I can't describe what it is, but y'all know what I'm talking about though. There's something that happens inside your insides, and you're like, I need to push this button. I need to push the button, but something pauses you from pushing the button. But you're like, I need to push the button because on one hand, I want to make sure there is no slides. There's no slides. I see you, Donald. I'll get you in a second. You're like, you looking for the link to that PDF, TJ? If it is, go through the, oh, maybe let me see, because I think I might have hold on. Did I close it, or did I just There it is. Let me just grab the link up here. I think what I did was, I don't think I pinned it up there. It's at the bottom. On one hand, you want to, you want to trade again so that way you can start to get some of your money back. That's one feeling. That's the feeling over here. I want my money back. I want some of my money back. And I know I can't get my money back if I don't trade. But the other side says, but what if I trade and I lose some more money? But what if I trade and I lose some more money and this don't go well and I lose some more money? I don't want that either. So you got these two things going at the same time. Listen, this is why, this is the main reason why I trade with y'all. We trade together. This ain't no, I put a trade out there and then go, how'd it go for y'all? That ain't how we do. That ain't how I do. Our trade is us. We trade because, first of all, I know the emotions. This ain't, I didn't first just start this rodeo, right? I know these emotions. I can explain. Can't nobody beat Arlissa up like Arlissa can. Can't nobody tell you how this goes through but me. And there probably is nobody in this chat. There may be a few people who have lost more money in this market than I have. Right? Who have spent more money in here. I'm telling you. But it's just that I know the feelings that you go through. Like I know the power of what we're doing, which is why I keep doing it. I also know the desire to say, bump this for the birds. I know that too. I know it. I know that you get, I'm moving to Mexico. You know, I'll just go somewhere and live in Bali. I'm moving to Guatemala where it's cheap. I mean, let's go live somewhere else. I mean, all the things. I'm just not doing this. I'm just going to buy and hold. I'll buy dividend stocks. That'll be how I make my money. And I mean, there's so many different things that go through your head. I totally get it all every time. Forget SPX. I'll just go trade something else. I go waffle back and forth. I do it over and over. I'm not doing that anymore. I used to do it a lot more. I don't do it anymore because why? I know now that there is power in this and whatever is the issue is in me. Some of it's in me. Some of it is in the fact that we're dealing with manipulations, right? And the whole point is I just need to win more than I lose. I need to win more often than I lose. We need to win more money than we lose and win more time than we lose. So the next day, we trade today. We do all that we can do today. We do the best we can do today. I give it my best effort today. Number one, somebody talked about the other day, I think it might have been Nonkali, that she talked about, we don't trade more money than we can afford to walk away from. If $500 is more than what you're comfortable walking away from, please do not trade SPX. If $100 is where your risk tolerance is, then stay with XSP. Then stay with XSP. And I'm not saying that with any amount of shade, okay? Period. I'm not. $500 is not, I'm not sneezing at it. It's not an easy amount. If that's not comfortable, if losing 420, 500, for whatever, Donald, I still see your number. I still know you want to talk. So I haven't forgotten about you. But if that's not a comfortable place for you, then let's stick with the 250s or stick with the 100s. And there is no shame in that. Okay, none at all. And don't even be bothered. Don't even be bothered if when at the end of the day, people are posting, they made 90 or they made 200 or they made 1,000 or whatever, and you made 12. Be fine with the 12, the 15, the 22. Be cool with that. Okay. Because there were a lot of days that I would post my $15, $20 happily. Okay. Because it was money I didn't have before and the market gave it to me. We're going to function where we are till we grow to the next place. All right. But you have to know you. If $100 is where your comfortable risk tolerance is, then flow right there till it's something different. All right. All right. If you're shaken by the loss of the 500, then let's not trade there till you're ready till it's okay. All right, that's the first thing. If you're trading 500 and you're doing multiple contracts of SPX, again, don't size up to the place that you can't walk away from that money. Don't size up till you can walk away from the money, because you can see it takes one run up like Monday where it just runs and runs, and you look up and $2,700 is gone. It was the market's money, but it's still gone. They gave it to me, so it was mine. And now I don't have it anymore. Right? So if that's going, then just know that at any point it can be done. And if that's the case, then what we do then is say, okay, then if I'm going to trade with larger quantities, with larger amounts of contracts, then I must put things in place like PDT hacks, or I must have a plan to close it for profit or to close at a lesser loss. Then you must have a plan, a stop loss plan or a profit taking plan that you're comfortable with. Whether that's I'm taking $50 per contract or $40 per contract with the PDT hack, or I'm closing it and I'll take my day trade. Or if it gets to a certain amount of a stop loss, I'm closing. If it touches my strike, I'm closing. Whatever your stop loss or profit taking plan is, you have to have that on the front side. And you have to execute it like a robot. It's almost impossible. Now, Monday moved so fast, I ain't even have time to think about mine. But by the time I realized that my plan was to close it when it touched my strike, the day was over. I was like, well, I did have a plan to close it if it touched my strike, but the day was over. The day was done. It was 4 o'clock, and I was like, I lost a bunch of money. Okay, that's why we got to have it on the front side. All right. All right. And then we have to decide after it's all over, we woosah it, we go, whew. If you're going to go have your glass of wine or your glass of whatever, or you're going, for those who smoke cigarettes, I don't know if you are, whatever it is, or if you're going to go do a nice walk around the block, you're going to go read a Bible verse, you're going to go scream in the backyard, whatever it is you need to do, or you're going to do to let it flow off you, then let it go, have your good night's rest. And the next day, we come back the next day and say, okay, we're back to the market. Whatever it was you needed to refresh yourself about your plan. And then when it comes time to trade, we trade again. Like for me, I decided I'm not doing iron condors because the few times in the most recent when I've gotten myself breached here recently is because I've done an iron condor on a day that it was going in the same direction. It was a hard moving in one direction. And if I'm gonna do an iron condor, it's gonna have to wait till the end of the day. Sonar I worked a lot of days, but then on the days it don't work, it hurts too bad. So there goes the sonar, and I can make this almost similar money off of verticals. So it's not like I'm benefiting a whole lot from doing sonars. Really, I can make almost the same money off verticals. There went that. So I decided to also keep my SPX in one place and XSP in Robinhood to separate those two things off. That way I'm not doubling up the strikes in two places. Did that, even though the other day when I lost, XSP got breached a little bit, SPX got breached all the way. There was that. And then yesterday I decided, TJ had told me this a few times before, but it finally came back around. He was like, Alyssa, less is more. He told me that a few weeks back. So now I'm gonna do 1 to 2 trades per day, and I'll just focus on 1 to 2 trades and put more weight behind them versus spacing it out. We talked in here about spacing it out, about whether doing, couple contracts, which that's fine too throughout the day, because then you're maybe at different strikes. But like the day I got breached on Monday, the price stayed in the same zone. So I ended up with multiple contracts of the same strikes because price stayed in the same place. So as I was getting to the times and I was just adding to the contract. So by the time we got to the end of the day, I had multiple contracts of the same strikes, which if I was, spacing it out, it might've been a little different, but that's the thought there too. But then I'm also, if and I'm talking about me, so that maybe you can find yourself in my discussion, so that way you can see maybe things that you can pick up and do for yourself. All I can do is talk about me. But I can say, okay, if I'm doing 4 or 5 or 6 contracts, then if I PDT hack that for $50, then if I got 6 contracts at $50 each, that's $300, right? Well, if I've got 2 contracts that I made $80 on, I'm going to be less motivated. I'm less motivated to PDT hack those, because at $80 a piece, I'm only going to have, and I won't say only, I'm going to have 160. I'm going to have 160. But if I have 4 contracts and I PDT hack them for $50, or I got 6 contracts at $50, then I'm going to have $300. I'm going to be a little more inclined to PDT hack them for the $50 to take all that other collateral off the board, and I'm still going to get the profits that I want. I'm a little more apt to close those trades earlier with a PDT hack, because I've got more collateral on the board and I'm still going to get the profits that I want. Did that make sense? Did that make sense? If I have only 2 contracts, I'm thinking, well, that's really only, now I can say only $1,000, but I'm less apt to close that, because I'm thinking that's 160. I want all of that money. I want all of my profit. But if I have more contracts, I can PDT hack and still get the profits I want and take my collateral back off the board and not leave my collateral open to the end of day move. Okay, that's what I'm talking about there. All right, you're gonna take it, more contracts give you maybe less money in profits, but because you have more contracts, it adds up to more profits. All right. And I do know that there's a little more capital in here than is being discussed, which is fine. How much money you all have is irrelevant to me, to be honest. It's not relevant, because it doesn't benefit, or I know I'm not benefited or not by that. But I do know that you all want to put your money behind something that you have faith and confidence in, right? You want to put your money behind something and someone that you have faith and confidence in, right? So I want to be the person that makes sure that I don't want to be leading you down a bad path, first of all. Second of all, I want you to believe that we can put our money in a place, whether we're looking at a very well-rounded, a very rounded view and a rounded trading system that is not, all solely based on one thing. Magic 8 Ball, as I've said before, has provided us with an edge that we may not have had, but we're coupling Magic 8 Ball with other things. We're coupling it with our charting. We're putting it with that gamma. We're putting it with our capital flow. We're putting it with VWAP. We're putting it with things that we have for ourselves. We're putting it with our ability to look at candles. We're putting these things together. So that way we can say, okay, even though Magic 8 Ball is giving us some strikes we can look at, we don't have to take those strikes. We can say, okay, like this morning, 5,600, even though Magic 8 Ball was saying 5605, 5610, we're still thinking, I was thinking 5,600 was where I was going to be a safer spot. That's because we're looking at a chart. Magic 8 Ball is selecting strikes based on premiums. We're going to look at strikes based on what that chart says. Magic 8 Ball isn't looking at a chart. It's an algorithm, right? So we're putting all the pieces together. Magic 8 Ball is definitely putting our pieces together. It's one more piece to our puzzle. It's a good piece now. It's a good piece. Please believe me, I am not minimizing the usage of Magic 8 Ball. I'm a fan. As in case y'all can't tell, I'm a fan. But it's not the be all to end all. It's not a standalone system. It needs to be coupled with things, right? Initially, I was running it, solo dolo, until you realize that sometimes Magic 8 Ball will flip on you. Like, wait, you were saying puts, and then next thing you saying calls, and then 2 things later you saying puts again. Wait, I can't depend on that. Let me go back to this here chart. We go back to what I know, which is this here chart. We go to this chart. Yeah, Miss Marsha said having a whole system. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do with y'all, is make sure we get equipped with the system. Okay, then the next day we come, we start all over again. We know we've got a system, we got a plan, we've got our risk management together, what we're gonna do if it goes wrong, and we got a plan to trade yet again. If we took losses, we got a plan to regenerate that money, and we just keep trading. We keep populating trades and we keep taking trades. Right? And we trade at your level. We can see that people can win and lose all in the same stock, all in the same day. Some people right next to us, some of us can lose to on the same day. I lost 2,700. Somebody else made 2,000-3,000 on that same day, and they trading the same thing I'm trading. As far as they trading the same stock and the same strategy, they weren't trading the same strikes, but they're doing the same thing we're doing. So we do know that it can continue to grow and continue to be beneficial to us. Max says, did you take the high loss because you didn't set a stop loss or did not set the hack? So I had I didn't set the hack. I didn't expect it to run up like it did. This was on Monday when it did that monster move at the end of the day on Monday. Let me turn on the chart. At the end of the day on Monday, it had that monster move. I thought 55, 60 was gonna hold it because it was looking like it wanted to. But then I think it was Monday. It might have been Tuesday. What's today? Sorry, it might have been Tuesday. I keep saying Monday. It might have been Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday, one of those days. Let me share my screen so that way we can see what I'm talking about. But I didn't have a stop loss set, and my stop loss is a mental one, which is I am supposed to close my trade when it touches my short leg. But this happened so late in the day on, it had to be Tuesday. Let me get this to a larger time frame so that way I don't have as much data on here. It's on this here screen. What was the day that it ran up crazy at the end of the day? Okay, so this is today. Wasn't yesterday, was it? Why does it look like it was here? But that wasn't.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, but that ain't the day I lost money. I did lose money yesterday, but that wasn't. Was it yesterday? I did lose money yesterday, but I'm thinking that wasn't the day I was thinking of.
It ran up yesterday.
It did and kept running. Yep, I think that might have been the day I'm thinking of. But so let's look here, because that might have been the day I'm thinking of. It definitely ran up. We thought, yep, that was yesterday. Ooh, it felt like it was eons ago, was yesterday. We did this all day yesterday. Yep, it was yesterday. It did this all day yesterday, all afternoon. All of this here just kind of stayed in the middle, right in here. And they did all this all day long. And I had several of us had 55.60. I had 55.60, but I had it from back here. I had 55.60 back here when it was just doing this right here. And it danced around. It was the 30, if you can see in here what you mean, let me turn off VWAP so that way that's not in the way. And let me turn off another moving average and turn off strat and turn off pivots. That way all you can see is the moving average. This blue, see all these moving averages are here together. And it was dancing around the blue line, which was the 50 period moving average. It stayed right with these moving averages for this whole period. And I was like, it just wouldn't go past it and kind of was hanging in. And I was like, something's going to happen when it start moving. And then when it started moving, this was like 3:30. It was still hanging around this zone. Then it popped up. And then at 3:45, this is the 3:45 candle. It started moving at 3:45. And my strike was up here. 55.60 was my strike. So it spent a good bit of that time moving towards it. And by the time it got up here, we were at like 350. No, this is a 15-minute candle. So it was actually closer to that. And then I said, by the time it got here, it pulled up, and it pulled up high because it went up. It went up into the 80s. We were on the call. It went up into the 80s. And I really think I was like just stumped. I was just stuck because my plan does say that I'm supposed to close it when it hits this line. It went up, and then it pulled back. And then I thought maybe it'll pull back down below 60. And it came down a little bit, and then it took back up again, and then it closed right up here. It closed at I think 72 or 70, something like that. It closed might have closed at 69. It closed at 69. So just above, it actually dropped in the in the 359 area. It dropped to
that the way it dropped was very mechanical. I ain't like that. I saw it. It was lower, and then it popped back
it
up.
sure was. It dropped to 63. At 359-ish, it was 63. And then when the bell rung, it popped to 69. Right when the bell rung, ding, 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 it popped to 69 at the last minute. So my trade would have been fine had it stayed at 63. At least I would have had a partial. But then at the last part of the bell, it jumped to 69. And there went my trade, just like that. So it was like, okay, well, there's that. And there's that. So I do have my risk management says that I would just close it at when my short leg is touched. That's my plan. And again, it did that, but then when it ran up and then pulled back like it did, because it ran up here, then it started falling really fast, and I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna come back down like it's supposed to, and then it popped right back up through it. That, well, there went that. Yeah. There was that. Somebody mark it on the screen. You want to show me something? Nope. So yeah, that was yesterday. But it is paramount that you do have, that we all have some type of plan and thought as to what are we going to do when we get breached. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. What are your breaching options? What are your options when you get breached? Okay. Come on, let's think about what are your options when you are getting breached. What are you thinking are going to be your options? What do you have? Because sitting idly by is an option.
I mean,
hoping and praying is an option.
Just like how you played it yesterday. We looked and give it a minute. It'll come back down, and it did. So you're like, whoo. And so that's the very first one, right? Can I ride it out a little bit?
Yeah. Can I ride it out? Yeah.
Do I have enough time to ride it out?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, start looking at some strikes to calculate the exit.
Okay. So when I'm breached, here we go. When I'm breached. Okay, we got a plan. When I'm breached.
I wrote a song about it. Like to hear it. Here it goes.
Right. Ride it out and wait. That's a plan. Okay.
Close it.
Okay. 2, close it.
Now, if we close it though, or that's a day trade though, right? Just from my understanding, you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But the pro to that is you're not losing your max loss. Is that why y'all doing that? Or like why y'all closing it though?
Yep. Close it would be you won't have a max loss. If it's partially, you're gonna not have a max loss. That's true. That's really the primary reason, is so you don't suffer max loss.
Oh, okay. Thank y'all. I just want to understand. Okay.
Yep. What's your criteria for closing it? Somebody who said close it. What's our close criteria?
If it moves past that short leg.
Okay. When it moves past your short leg. Okay. Do we have any other criteria?
Now wait a minute, y'all. That went over my head. What does that mean? Short leg. What
Okay.
y'all mean?
So if you have, for example, you've got your, let's say we had the 55, 60, and we had 55, 65, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was our trade for yesterday, 55, 60, 55, 65, and we had a call credit spread.
Mhm.
Okay, so the short leg is the one that's the -1. The one that is the sale leg.
The one that's the sale
I'm gonna
leg.
put,
Oh,
I'm gonna change this to say sale leg. The one that is the -1,
Closest to the price.
the one that's closest to the price,
okay.
that's your sale leg. That's the one you're most concerned about because the buy part, there's a spread, so they go together. But this sale leg or short leg being breached is the one that determines whether or not your trade ends good or bad. Basically, that's the one that is the most important. That -1 on your trade, when it's one has a -1 next to it, that's the sale leg.
Okay. Thank y'all. Thank you.
This is your short leg right here. That's your short leg. Okay, I think I saw somebody in the comment. Donald, are you still here?
No, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just got on
my
a roll. Go ahead. What was your question?
my question was answered. It was about stop losses.
Okay.
I was just trying to figure out what the percentage should be for your stop loss because in this game it's preserving your capital.
Yeah. And that's a good question. It's so hard to determine a percentage. I mean, you have to determine it for yourself, but credit spreads can be difficult to determine your stop loss percentage wise because your trade can still be good, but your percentage can be passed. Like you could be stopped out of a trade and the stop and the price not be at your short leg or not be at your sale leg, but it can be past your strike price. It could be past your percentage price.
Yeah, I
But
feel like I'm acting like a bounty hunter
yeah,
trying to get a handle of all this.
yeah,
So in some capacity, I like option, but option can be nerve-wracking.
they can be. Absolutely. There's definitely pros and cons. There's cons for the cons. Yes. Yeah. So when it moves past your short or your sale leg, so if you're doing your call credit spread, that first number, and you want to look, if it starts to touch that first number, you gotta, this is why we talk about that PDT hack, whether you're hacking it for a profit or a loss. You want to make sure that if it's going to turn back against you, that you are locking down your trade to make sure that you don't end up, if the best you can, you want to try to avoid a max loss. You really want to try to avoid max loss if you can. If you can, you want to avoid max loss. All right. When it moves past your sale leg, that's when you're going to close it. Yes, you are going to have a day trade. Or you can use your PDT hack. So let's use 3 because number 3 could be what? PDT hack. PDT. I was on a, there we go. DT hack.
You mean after your breach
Yep. You can. It's just
instead of the other side? Okay. Okay.
PDT hack for a loss. It may not be, that's going to be virtually the same as closing it. You're going to get a little money back for it, but you're going to save yourself a day trade. That's the benefit of using the PDT hack for a loss. You will get a little money for it, but you'll save a day trade.
Miss Alyssa, when on the first one on number 2A, when we're closing it, is that just a right click close to trade or something? I've never closed a
Yes.
trade before, so I'm just trying to, the steps are
It
just
is.
right click close.
Yep. So you're gonna select both of those, both of the legs, like you would, and you said you haven't closed one. Select both of the legs, right click, and buy the vertical. That's the top line. You're gonna buy the vertical, and that closes it.
Okay. And this is a PDT hack. What if it was like a liberation trade? You was letting it run and it's going against you. Do you just go to that one leg and right click and close the sale?
No. You always have a spread, so you're always closing both legs. You're always closing both. But this trade is a 2-leg trade. So when you're closing it, you're always closing both legs.
Wait.
both
On the
contracts.
liberation trade though, we only have only one line is open on Thinkorswim, right? No? Okay.
No, you always have 2 lines.
Okay.
Yeah. Go look. Open up your if you open up your Thinkorswim, it might already be open. But anytime you open up your Thinkorswim, I mean, you look there, you're always going to have 2 lines on those contracts. Even our liberation, we had two because these are spreads.
Okay.
Always had 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So, okay. So you can close it because it's a day trade. Like especially if you're on Robinhood, go ahead and just close it. If you like, as what I did the other day, I think it was Monday. I just closed it. Oh, I thought I was closing all of them. Only closed one contract. Oh, that was so frustrating. Just close it. Use your day trade. Close it where it's at. Honestly, if you close it when your short leg is being breached, you're probably going to close it for about $300. So you're not going to be anywhere near max loss. Well, I'll say anywhere near. $300 is halfway, a little more than halfway. Around then, but that still can feel painful, especially if you got multiple contracts. But you won't have a max loss, which is better than your max loss. Better than max loss. Okay. PDT hack for a loss. You can do that. Any other ways? What else can we do if we're breached? Aside from praying.
Can you do the opposite trade? Like I hear y'all talk about that often. Like if you was in a put, then go to the CRES, the CCS side. I hear y'all talk about it.
That's like doing that's like doing that PDT hack. You're talking about doing some making it into an iron condor.
Iron condor, yes.
Yep. Okay, so the next thing is to do additional trades to mitigate or minimize the loss.
Because didn't you teach us that it's already taking your capital anyway, right?
That's right. Yep.
I'm not that smart yet. I'm not at number 4, so I'm just talking.
But you know what, you're listening. You're able to respond. Even if you don't know how to do it yet, you know that there's something you could do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this, but I know that I could do it. Yeah. Turn it into an iron condor, do some more contracts, okay?
I also heard depending on, I guess if you have enough time, if it's going against you, I've never tried it, you can close one of the legs and let the other one run. But I've never tried that.
Yes. Now, this is in my training. That is in my credit spreads masterclass training. You can close the sell leg. Basically, you can buy back the sell leg. I'm going to say buy back the sell leg and let the long leg run. That works out fine as long as it keeps running. Otherwise, because buying back the sell leg is going to be expensive. So that long leg needs to pay for it. It needs to keep moving so it can overshadow what you lost by buying back the sell leg. So it's risky because once the spread together is worth no more than $500 of a loss. So if you buy it, if you have it together and you close it or max losses, it's only worth $500 of a loss. But if you buy back one side, maybe you pay $1,000 to buy one side back, and the other side doesn't do anything, then now you turn this 2-sided $500 trade loss into $1,000 loss because you paid $1,000 to get out. So it can become a more expensive trade if it doesn't do what you wanted it to do. So it can be quite risky. But this is a way to mitigate. It is a way. It is. I've done it one time. been a while back, but I did it one time successfully. The other times you need time, and you need to make, and the price needs to keep moving. Okay, I wanted to talk about what are some things we can do when we're breached. But again, these are the things that we set up and we think about. We need to think about these things when the market is closed, when there is no pressure. So that way, when the market is open and it's 358 and the price is going up to 55.80 when your strike is at 55.60, you have already thought about these things. So that way, when it comes time to execute, you can execute without a lot of thought, right? That's why we have to get into the repetition. We think about it ahead of time so that when it comes time to do it, we can just do it. Okay, we can't think of these while we're in the moment, because in the moment, all of the chemicals in your body are going crazy. Okay, all the chemicals at one time. On Wednesday, the chemicals in my mind are going nuts because the first thing that's on my mind is I just lost money on Monday. I can't even think about what's happening here. I can't even think about it. And then I'm on the call with you all, and I'm like, there are people who are here who are also, I can feel the weight of the people who are on the call who are also in the process of losing money. And so it's not just me on the call losing money. I'm thinking I got people who are with me who are all going down this hole together. It's hard. So Donald says, any books to recommend for options? There are some really good books by Freeman Publications. Freeman Publications has, and they make really easy to understand. You can find them on Amazon, and they're inexpensive too. They come in like 3-some sets. They got some on credit spread, selling options, writing options, but there are several of them by Freeman. I want to say it's Freeman Publications. Look for them. They've got several good books. They're very easy to understand, very easy to read. They're not too jargon heavy. They're very easy reads, comfortable, but the information is good. They're not so soft that they're not worth any good, but they're not so heavy that you can't understand them. All right. So yeah, all right. Do you think y'all think that list is pretty good? I think that's a pretty comprehensive list on what to do when you're breached. I think that's a pretty good list. Okay. Let's do that. I'm going to grab that as a graphic so that way we can, when I'm breached, these are the things we can do. Okay, that was all right. Do we want to look at the
question?
Yep.
So on the one that says wait to see what it does, should it be a plan in that as well? And like what time of day we're doing this at? Or how far into it are we waiting? Because sometimes it don't turn around.
True. I was gonna come back to that. I'm glad you're bringing that up, because really ride it out and wait has to be chart based. It has to be based again on that chart, and it's going to be situational, because it's going to come down to your own level of conviction and constitution. Do you have the stomach to sit and watch the candles do their thing? And or not, right? How long are you comfortable waiting to watch and see? So it depends on, for me, it depends on the time of day. It depends on the day. It depends on what I got going on. Some days I got the ability to ride and watch it. Some days if I got something else I'm doing or something else my mind is on, I'm not watching this, and I'm done. It depends. So, and it's going to depend on, every person has to be different, and it's going to also depend on your level of knowledge and whether you're going to invoke somebody else, because I do find that sometimes y'all, if we get to where we get crunched, this is when we don't ask for somebody to look with us. even though that's the time we need to ask somebody to look with us. If you at a place and you got a strike that's looking questionable, that's the time to come into the chat and say, what y'all think about so-and-so strike? What do y'all think about what's happening right here? What do y'all think about blankety blank? That's the time to ask for more people to look with you. And all the opinions may or may not be the same, but you at least get some opinions, you know, but sometimes we get to where it's not going our way and then we don't ask any more questions. We just sit and you know, wrestle with it by ourselves when we don't have to. We got there's 100 people in this chat, even though 100 people aren't commenting, but at least 20 people might, you know, so let's ask for help. But the answer to your question is, it's going to come down to the chart and really, you know, it's going to be situational. It's going to be situational because sometimes it look like it's going to come back down and it may come down enough for you to get on out. It might come down enough and then it turns back around, but you just had to need it to, you know, what do you see? Because sometimes I can look at a chart and be like, well, I think it's going to do so-and-so. And then like today, we were looking at this chart. It was doing this all day long. And I was like, it looks like it's just sitting there. I know the next move is going to be a move. Janae said it looked like it want to come down some more. And I was like, it looked like I don't know what it want to do. It looked like it wants to go somewhere. And I didn't know which way it wanted to go. I knew we were coming up to Amazon and Apple earnings after. And yesterday that made it pop, the earnings coming up. But we sat in this zone for all day. And I was like, it's going to do something at the end. And, you know, so this is just where we start to communicate about it and you see. So how long do you wait? It's really, that's an individual answer. And I don't know if that's a great answer, but it's really going to come down to what you see in the candles, what you see in the chart. It's really what it comes down to, what you see in the chart.
Yeah, like today, I forgot the young lady who mentioned, look at the 1 minute and it was taking off going up.
Yeah,
so I was like, because I never do the 1 minute or 5 minute time frame. I just stay out of that. That ain't my lane. But when I did take a look at it, I was like, okay, I see what was going on. But some in my phone is saying, because I was going to buy another contract. So I was saying, So I went with my, instance, and next thing you know, that thing just fell. I said, oh my gosh.
And it's fine when you're going to do that, if you're going to look at other time frames, I think that's a good idea sometimes to look at smaller time frames. But when you do that, like if you got more than one chart, or you can do that, like put one chart on a small time frame, like this will be on the 5 minute, and then put another chart on a larger time frame. So that way you're still seeing a bigger and a smaller move. So that way you're not just seeing one or the other, because sometimes we can get so tuned into a small time frame that we don't see the overall move happening. And sometimes we get on this big move that we don't see the micro moves happening. So I think if you're going to do, definitely if you can see more. And if you're using Thinkorswim has the ability, we talked about this before, with Thinkorswim, you can put 3 or 4 time frames together. Like if you're on Thinkorswim, you can go up here to this box up here to the right. Y'all see where my mouse is moving up here at the right? You can pick this box up here, and you can change this to as many screens as you want. Now, all these ain't gonna fit comfortably, but if you want 4 boxes, let's say, you can do 4 boxes here, and you can have the same stock in all these boxes. You can change different stocks too, but you can have the same stock in all these boxes, and you can have different time frames. So if you're looking at SPX, which is usually what we're looking at the end of the day, you can have SPX on. Can y'all see my screen still? Yeah, I see that. I'm still sharing. You can do SPX, and you could have it, this one could be up here. You could have it on the 30 minute, time frame. And then you can change the other one to the 15, and then you could do, so let's say we do 30 here, and then we up here we do 15, and then down here on the left we do the 5, and then down here on the right we do the 1 minute. So we're looking at the same stock, but we're looking at it on different time frames. So you're still watching the chart, right? But you're watching the chart on different time frames, and you can still see what's happening with it on time frames that will give you an indication of whether it's the smaller times are starting to do the move, but you still can see what's happening. There's so many things to look at, and I'm vowing to look at more things when we're in the power hour. I really want to be able to still see, because I wasn't looking at cash. I wasn't looking at capital flow in the last 15 minutes, because if I was, I would have seen all those puts start coming through, and I would have seen that it was gonna fall like that, because capital flow shows that stuff is coming in real time. Those orders come in real time, so we would have seen that. Then we got gamma. The gamma chart was showing that it was falling. I need some more screens. That's really what I need. I need at least one more screen up here. Maybe one more. Then I got to figure out how to get it, how to run one more screen. Got to get a splitter. Then I got to ask my tech man to come in here and complain about, you got too much stuff. So, can't be too loud. He'll hear me. But yeah, that's what you can do. Use your screen and do multiple time frames. That way I want to see capital flow at the end of the day. We can see gamma at the end of the day. We're going to see our chart. If we're trading during power hour, you know, if you're trying to get into something, if you're already in something and your trade is going down to zero, then you're just chilling. And that's really what I'd like to be at, is to be in something. And if you PDT hack, then you basically sitting back chilling, just letting the day go by. That's some good stuff right there. We're working on it.
Does TradingView allow you to set it up like this as well, multiple screens?
TradingView does, depending on which one you paid for. I have the medium one, I have the medium price one, and I get 2 screens.
Okay, yeah, I got the middle one too, yeah.
Yeah, the middle one gives you 2 screens. So, and you can put, SPX can be on both of these screens, and you can do 2 different time frames. If you want a bunch of screens on TradingView, you have to pay for the big one. Yeah. Yep. Any more questions? We good? All right. Let's talk a little bit, and that just because I'm only gonna talk this as a clarification point, because this may be maybe this will be our Saturday discussion, is if we need this, because y'all may decide we don't want it, or you might not want it. Clarification of finding strikes during power hour. Do we need more clarification on that? Do we want to maybe make that our Saturday thing? What do we want to do? What do we want to make our Saturday thing? Let's talk about that, maybe. So many topics that we could talk about. We could talk more about charting. We can talk about picking strikes. We can work, I don't know if we need to swing back to entry and exits of Magic 8 Ball. Low says charting.
Can I ask you a quick question, Ms. Arlisa?
Absolutely.
On the ORB breakout, do you always watch for that retest? Because today was the first time I watched for the retest, and I was like, "There's that retest you was talking about." Because I never watched for the retest, so you taught me something today.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should watch for the retest to confirm, because we've seen it come out and then come right back in and don't retest, and it turns around.
Okay.
So the retest is there as a confirmation to make sure it's really gonna do it, because if it just goes out and it just keeps, sometimes it'll turn back and come right back in. which we've seen it do that. But if it comes and touches and then keeps on going, then you know it's like, yeah, I'm really going this way.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you say opening, opening numbers, is that what you mean, Mr. Mack, setting those opening numbers?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Okay.
Someone was talking about it earlier that they set the opening range,
Yep,
and we
yep, yep.
talked about it before, but I've never did the homework to learn it
Okay.
from the perspective of taking a trade because
Uh-huh.
again, as you said tonight, I just looked at just wait till you paste the Magic 8 Ball numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm thinking, okay, I still need to learn it
Mm-hmm.
for myself. And same thing with the power hour numbers. I know you gave us the chart
Mm-hmm.
the other day,
Mm-hmm.
the last time we spoke. You taught us how to use that chart
Mm-hmm.
that you gave us as well. So I've been wondering how has that been doing in the last time, because I'm thinking today and yesterday we wouldn't have seen that coming. We wouldn't have seen that last
Yeah,
move
yesterday, that
in the
last move was
last
crazy.
minutes.
Yeah. I have found that in this volatility that we're in, we are safer waiting till after 3:45. Something happens every day at 3:45. It's like you can be cruising right along, and then like today, you cruising right along, boom, boom, boom. This the 3:45 candle right here. Everything just popping right along. 3:45 drop. Yesterday, 3:45. We jump, 3:45. This is the 3:45 candle. Goes nuts, right? Previous day. Now this day just kind of sat still, but almost every day at 3:45, something's just been happening. Like, what are you doing? Why 3:45? I don't know. That's when all the order try to come in and try to sneak the people before the day ends, I guess. Okay, so we've got at least 6 lines we're going to do, and I'm going to put it's linked. It's pinned at the top. Let me find the pin so that way I can bring it back to the bottom. The pin for the 6. What are the 6 lines? The 6 lines are, move it to the bottom. Forward march. Okay, our pins are, we want the opening range high. Okay, the opening range. So the opening range is the first 15 minutes. You can do 30 minutes, 15, 30. I usually do the first 15. So this is on the 15-minute chart. So we want the 15-minute, this is the first 15-minute chart right here, 15-minute high. Okay, I'm gonna, you gonna let me type? Yep. Save as 15-minute high. We did it right on there. I don't know if it wrote it on there. I want to write it on there. Add alert template, save as 15-minute high, but I want you to write it on there. Okay, but I want you to write it on there. Hold on. Settings. Text, okay. Open range high. Okay. Let's see. Can you see that over there? Is that easy to see? Do I need to make it bigger? Probably need to make it bigger. It will turn it red and we'll make it bigger. Okay. That's an opening range high is what I put there. Probably should write in the middle or something. You can see it, Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Okay. And then we'll put another line. We're going to go here. Okay, another line. And this, we want the opening range low. Setting, we're going to go open range low. All right. Opening range high, opening range low. So we're doing that because I'm going to make it a dotted line So that way a dash line, it helps me to know that that's what this one is, that it's not a regular line, but it's a dash line for the opening range. Why are we doing this? Because once it breaks out of the opening range, it kind of gives you a little bit more indication of a trend. Once it breaks out going up, you got a little bit of a trend going that way. If it breaks out going down, you got a trend going this way. Or when it gets back into the opening range, basically it's range bound, which is what it has been, which is what it was yesterday for a while. But breaking out the top, that you got a trend going up, basically came right back down to it, hung out in here, so on and so forth. All right, so that's opening range high, opening range low. Then we're going to the daily chart. So that way we can look at some information from the previous day. So we want let's put us another line here. We want the previous day opened. I can take this off. Let me take this off and take you off. There we go. We want the previous day open. I don't want it dotted anymore. Regular. Previous day open. Okay. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. The open, the bottom of the green candle is where the open is. So let's put our settings. Previous, I'm gonna make it capital. Previous day open. Previous day open. We're gonna put a line up here. Previous day close. Okay, settings, there we go. Previous day close. Previous day high is here. And we want the previous day low, which that's down there. We just need to now change this from being dashed to being solid. And change it to our previous day low. Okay, so previous day open, close, previous day high, previous day low. Now, the reason we're doing those is those areas will also provide support and resistance. Oddly enough, the previous day numbers, high, low, open, and close, provide support and resistance for subsequent days. Those become lines as well. So we put them on. So as price is moving, we're saying, well, we're coming up, we're coming into yesterday's high. We're coming into yesterday's low or yesterday's open, yesterday's close. Where did it open yesterday? We come back into that. It's gonna, those are zones. And then we watch price action. You got those those 6 lines. As you're looking at even that, in addition to what Adam has given us, when Adam gives us our numbers, you can put those on there to say that just gives us other places that can provide some support and resistance for us as we go through the day. And identifying the gaps. Definitely need to identify the gaps because we know, like today, price went right on up there from a previous gap. And when it went and filled it, and as soon as it finished filling it, it went up. I thought the gap was a little bit lower than that. Looks like it was, I thought it was 56.68. Well, it might have 56.70 looks like it was, but it went real close to it and turned back today. This is what today's candle was. And then it tried to I think it wanted to go fill the gap at the bottom. Maybe it'll do that tomorrow. This extra little gray part here is the gap that it created this morning when it gapped up. And then it filled part of that even because this gap here really was, the whole gap was here. This whole gray thing here was the gap. but part of the price action today filled a portion of it. So this is the gap that's left now, is this. There's a little bit of gap now left. So now there's this part here all the way across the middle, which was still left from here, because that part's not filled yet. This part down here is filled, but then there's a little bitty bit up here at the top that's not filled either, because it didn't go all the way up to the top of that gap. It went close. It got close, but not all the way. Close, but no cigar.
So it would possibly make sense that tomorrow it may gap back down. Today, I think it gapped up because of earnings. And I think, who was it? Apple had bad numbers today, and
And so
somebody
the
else,
Amazon.
yeah, had bad numbers. So it may gap back down to fill that gap at the opening.
Yep, it surely
Okay.
may.
Okay.
It surely may. Absolutely. SPX and those, they like to fill their gaps. So, I mean, it don't have, again, like I said, it don't always happen the same day, but it'll try. It'll
Got
try
it.
to
Thank
fill
you.
some of it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, let's talk let's do the power hour on Saturday. That way we can do our on demand, and we can run the on demand program and enter and find our strikes and do the whole thing on Saturday. Let's do that then. All right. For whenever you all do want to use it, or if you're doing nothing but finding the other side, because sometimes you already got a trade going and you decide, I just want to put the other side on later in the day to balance off money from previous or something like that. You still want to have a safe place to find strikes. But you definitely want to identify your gaps, your support and your resistance. When you're not taking time, you're not taking time to, you're not trading per se and not watching, be doing the job they pay you for. If you're at work, be doing the job that pays you. And taking a glance at your chart, looking at some other things, reading up on what kind of news is coming out, or seeing what the news and stuff is having to say. Getting prepped and ready, because we already know that let your system get a little bit of a break, since we know the afternoons it's gonna be a lot. All right, I wanted to do, before we go, I did want to go back to the spreadsheet that I created for us, the Excel sheet I created for us, the best times. Let me share my screen one more time. I hope y'all appreciate when I do the different things for us. Y'all appreciate it?
Yes, yes, we do. We do.
Yes,
So
greatly.
Yes,
appreciative.
ma'am.
Yes.
Very much.
Yeah, I thought to do something like this. I actually copied it. but I wrote the words out. I mean, just pasted it in the thing.
Yeah.
Did you send this to us already?
I
Or is this
did.
brand new?
I put in the chat. Well, I had it like
Now, Mac, you supposed to have paid attention and been like,
yeah.
Don't do
it was-
that. Don't do
Don't
that.
do that.
Don't do that.
Mr. Mac, it came in individual emails, like individual
okay.
pictures. Like
Okay.
with each spreadsheet, I mean, each little picture, I put this in it, but now I
Yes,
decided to
ma'am.
put it
And I
all
was
in the
gonna write
spreadsheet.
that out tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. But
yeah,
you're ahead of us. Thanks.
Yeah, I put it into
So
a spread
yes, we
because I
appreciate
needed
it.
a spreadsheet. I kept having to go back to the pictures myself. I was like, I need something better than this. Yes, I have multiple post-it notes. So yes, so this is they put this list out every week. They go and do a check of the year to date of the best time. So I will update this as we get more information. But these are the top 3 times, 3 to 4, depending, because some of these were like they had the exact same number. That's why you get 4 of them per day of the week. These are the best times for those days of the week. And this is all verticals, by the way. It's only verticals for SPX and XSP, depending on which one you're trading. And here's also some good times. Some of these times, the good times are also like near the times here. So if you can't get that exact time, you can get nearby. get somewhere in the vicinity, right? And you can trade these times. I actually did something on my phone for each day. I have the alarm, I have the alert that lets me know. I had it set for 5 minutes before this, so that way I start looking for it. I start looking at it before, like 5 minutes beforehand. So that way, when it is time for me to place the trade, I've already been looking at it for about 5 minutes. So I'm ready for it to come. And to alert me that this is the time of day that this is supposed to be happening. Okay. So, yeah, hopefully this will help even fine tune us even the more for our times and looking at, and even if you wanted to trade multiples, if you wanted to trade, maybe you say on Monday, I got more time on Monday, maybe I do multiples. These are all kind of around the same time, but you say, okay, I got a little more time, or maybe certain days you got more times, you got some better, different time. You can take multiple trades if you want to. All right. So there's that. Okay. I don't know, this XSP this Thursday said 9:45. That's right after the market opens. I was like, I don't know about 9:45. Now the time it might have been fine, but I was like, 9:45, I'm gonna need to see. And it probably would have been fine today, because 9:45, it probably was still calling out puts, and it probably would have been okay.
Brian does I noticed he does some 10-10s. Be like, okay,
Yeah.
or 10-15.
Yeah, now he said that his is solely based on his work schedule, that he does it based on his work schedule. Because I asked that question, so I was like, well, what's making you go into the trades earlier? And he said it was based on his work schedule. Like, okay, works for me. Works for me. What other questions did we have? Because I talked the whole time. Did we have any other Q&A questions that we wanted to do?
Last question
Yep.
for me
Mm-hmm.
is that the times that you have here, those times and strikes is to expire at the end of the day without the hack. The hack is our choice to put on.
Yeah. The
Okay.
hack. Yep. The
All
hack
right.
is your choice. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now,
I'm a fan of the hack. Number one, the afternoon, I think you're good. I feel like by and large, you're okay without the hack in the afternoon, but we've also seen this crazy volatility in the afternoon. So if you haven't learned the hack, I would suggest that you might, lean into it just as a backup in case you need to use it. You may not need to, but in case you do, if you see it doing some funky stuff, you might need to go, let me go and lock down my money just in case. That you want to be able to do it if you want. It's up to you though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, but these are designed to go all the way to expiration. Any more questions?
Hi, Alyssa. This is Julie.
Ah.
Just wanted to confirm on the PDT hack. Once
Mhm.
you finish that PDT hack, you get your collateral back, right? You can do more PDT hacks.
Yep, you get all but 125 inside of Thinkorswim. I don't know what Interactive Broker does, but in Thinkorswim, they keep $125 until the trade is done.
That's the 625 total you need,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
So then do you need another 125 for the second trade?
I would say probably.
Probably.
Unless you're doing those exact same strikes again, I would say you probably need another 125. I don't know that for sure, but it would stand to reason that you would.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 945 today XSP would have been 558, and I'm thinking it expired above 558 today. Did XSP expire above 558 today? XSP expired, 560. Yep, the 945 would have worked at this morning. Ooh, that would have been a long day though of watching. Oh yeah, no. I pass. Pass. No puffing, just pass. Who else got a question?
I have a question. So you know how I asked you about my oh my gosh, tried to buy back Stir because I did a cover
Yeah.
call on it.
Uh-huh.
So I had got this message when I tried to close it out. It says you do not have enough overnight buying power to place this order. What does that mean?
Do you already have an order to close it already? You might have an order already open.
No, I don't. I don't have any pending orders.
No pending orders. Then you shouldn't have got, that's on Thinkorswim?
Negative, Robinhood.
Oh, that shouldn't have been a problem either. I mean, when you go over to that right-hand side of the screen, you want to select that same trade, the serve trade, and then select buy, either close or buy.
It doesn't give me the option to close. It just says sell, buy, or other option, or view other options. And when I click view other options, it takes me to,
Okay, that's not what you want. You want to pick buy.
Right, that's what I did.
Okay.
And then I selected the amount I wanted to close it out at, because I know come tomorrow, if it's still above 6, I mean, I still take the 600, that's fine, but I wanted to try to do it, make some more money off of it.
What'd you put in there?
I had put, let me see, I got a premium of 50, and right now at the time it was asking was at 35. I had put 25.
You put 0.25?
Yeah, 0.25.
Yeah, that should have worked.
Yep. I even checked to see if I had already closed, tried to close it.
Yeah.
But I don't have any pending orders.
Yeah, that should have worked. As long as it's still open, that should have worked.
Yeah, it expired tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yeah, in the morning. Try it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone else? Anything else? Anyone else? All righty. Well, I will be on in the morning at 8:45. I will be there bright and early. Oh yeah, that I was looking at the Thursday. This 125 at XSP at 125 would have been breached. The other 2 times, the 9:45 and 10:10 would have been fine. The 125 would have been breached. It dropped to 560. It closed at 560, but the strike price was 562. That would this one wouldn't have made it. This one here would not have made it. Those 2 were fine. Would have been fine today. So yeah, I'll be on at 8:45 in the morning. We'll have to. I gotta see about. Oh, let me see. Lord. I was getting ready to tell y'all. Let me stop this recording, because I was gonna mention to y'all about this, my trader. Lord.